He uses a sound wave diagnostic tool, but still can't locate the starter issue. Simultaneously, the new amplifier for the stereo arrives, but there's still no sound. He needs to adjust some settings. The replacement Starlight headliner control unit is also installed, and the beautiful roof is now fully lit. The diagnostic screen indicates an open circuit for the starter motor. Lifting the car again, he removes the large, full-width metal undertray, revealing the exhaust pipes and wiring looms. He finally spots the rusted cable connection point on the starter motor through a narrow gap. This corrosion is definitively blocking power flow. Attempts to unscrew the corroded bolt are impossible in this position. He douses the entire area with penetrating oil. A standard restart attempt fails. The corrosion removal was insufficient. Frantically, he attempts to clear more debris to reach the starter connection. He disconnects the midsection of the exhaust, but it doesn't offer enough clearance. He realizes that to replace the starter, he must drop the entire subframe, or even worse, remove the entire engine. Rolls-Royce is owned by BMW, and BMW has a history of making the simple starter motor, or the enemy as he jokes, notoriously difficult to access, especially in their performance models. It's bad luck this issue plagues the Rolls-Royce. While the starter is a non-consumable part, often lasting over 200,000 kilometers, its inaccessible placement is a major engineering oversight for a mechanic. He removes the front wheels, disconnects various linkages, oil cooler lines, and the stabilizer bar connection. He strips away the insulation to expose the rear drive shaft, unbolts it from the gearbox and the differential, and removes the central bearing mount, freeing the divided drive shaft. Lowering the car, he disconnects every hose and connector attached to the engine, leaving the radiator assembly in place. He removes the brake calipers and separates the upper control arm from the suspension mounting. The subframe is lifted onto jacks. He disconnects the steering column link from the cabin. Slowly, he raises the car body, meticulously monitoring and disconnecting any final hoses or wires obstructing the massive V12 engine's exit path. The engine is finally free. The entire powertrain, including the gearbox and much of the front suspension, is out. It's a Herculean effort. The 6.75-liter engine block, with all its accessories, is larger than a full-grown man. Crucially, the starter is located at the back, tucked behind one of the exhaust assemblies and buried beneath the engine, attached to the transmission bell housing. The plan is to confirm if the fault is in the cable corrosion or the starter itself. He removes the two mounting bolts and extracts the motor. The cable terminal is visibly corroded. He bench tests the starter by applying power to the solenoid, often called the automatic in some places, responsible for direct battery connection and gear thrust, and grounding the frame. The starter spins, but Matt notes it's sluggish. It should engage with more forceful instantaneous thrust to crank the massive V12. He disconnects the solenoid's actuation wire and powers the main motor directly. This time, the gear engages and spins much faster. The solenoid is the culprit. He then inspects the alternator. The Cullinan has two. The upper one is clear of the waterline. He removes the submerged lower alternator. Its terminal is badly corroded with a characteristic green copper oxide, distinct from the brown iron oxide rust. The alternator is seized. The internal copper windings are locked due to deposits. He cleans the cable corrosion and sends the unit out for testing and reconditioning. The new starter motor arrives, costing £715, sourced from BMW because the official Rolls-Royce part was significantly more expensive. He installs the new clean alternator and the new starter. The engine and transmission are reinstalled onto the body, aligning the subframe, suspension, and drive shaft. The engine bay is reassembled, fluid levels topped up, and he installs a used, functional BMW auxiliary battery to replace the dead one. A highly anticipated start attempt fails, though power is fine. Rolls-Royce engines are designed to be almost silent at idle. The only way to start it is through repeated attempts. Finally, it fires up and he drives it into the garage. It's a bizarre sight.
Matt driving the salvaged Rolls-Royce away from the auction yard back to his garage with a host of unresolved problems. All interior lights are functional, except for the Starlight headliner. He drives it to a gas station and keeps the engine running, fearful it won't restart. After a few minutes, he notices a plume of white smoke from the rear. He initially assumes it's water vapor steaming from the exhaust pipes due to the floodwater, but he can't risk turning off the engine to investigate, so he rushes back to the garage. The smoke's true origin is the main battery. Pulling back the trunk carpet reveals a potent smell of burning electronics. Gas venting from the battery like this is extremely hazardous. He immediately shuts off the engine, quickly moves a nearby plastic storage container, and disconnects the battery's negative terminal, which is scorching hot. He removes the battery and isolates it far away. This may seem an overreaction, but damaged car batteries can turn into explosive hazards within minutes. This is a traditional lead-acid battery. Battery overheating can be caused by two main factors: a short circuit or overcharging. A short circuit creates an alternate low-resistance path for the current, leading to excessive current flow and extreme heat. The second and more likely scenario here is uncontrolled overcharging, often due to a faulty alternator or a failed electronic control unit, ECU, that regulates the charge. The extreme heat breaks down the sulfuric acid components, releasing highly flammable hydrogen gas. Inside the trunk, Matt finds several loose trim pieces and a nest of water-damaged ECUs. Each failed module led to a specific problem. The charging regulator caused the battery to overheat, the door controller disabled the power lock button, the roof light unit killed the Starlight headliner, and the amplifier tuner module, once it failed, silenced the speakers and caused the center screen to flicker erratically. The plan is to meticulously remove all compromised units for replacement. Though not designed for deep water, the cabin and trunk can handle heavy rain. However, a full-scale flood allowed water to seep continuously through pressure relief vents and around the rear light assembly gaps. He locates a plastic fuse box assembly, and thankfully, the post-accident safety fuses are fine. He cleans all electrical contacts with a specialized electronics cleaner and a rotary wire brush to remove every trace of corrosion. He reinstalls the fuse box, then fits a new battery charge regulator, which he sourced from a BMW 8 Series as the part is identical. He also replaces the small auxiliary battery and the main scorched battery, which cost around $200 for a traditional lead-acid type. He attempts a hopeful start. A try-again message appears. Power is clearly supplied, but the starting mechanism is failing. He decides to leave the car overnight. The next morning, the only way to start the engine is through repeated, persistent attempts. Finally, he successfully drives the 2,700-kilogram, 2.7-ton behemoth into his garage. Pushing or dragging it was not an option. The hydraulic lift, rated for 3.5 tons, easily handles its weight. He first verifies the new batteries. The main registers over 14 volts, and the auxiliary is similar. A healthy, isolated battery is 12.5 volts, but once the engine is running and the alternator is charging, the voltage should be between 13.5 and 14.9 volts. Next, under the hood, he confirms the voltage isn't dropping through the main cables. All measurements are excellent. However, this Rolls-Royce has a third, unusually small battery which registers a mere 5 volts, effectively dead. Its primary function is to power a few minor sensors and, more critically, act as a supplementary power source for the starter motor. Lifting the car reveals a truly massive machine. He inspects the undercarriage, removing several metal shields to expose the wiring harness running the length of the vehicle. Using a small inspection camera, he tries to spot the starter motor, fearing corrosion, but nothing is immediately visible. Lowering the car, he removes a cowl from above, followed by the plastic engine cover. Still, no sight of the starter. The self-starter motor has a single simple function: to rapidly spin the flywheel or ring gear. It's a small electric motor whose gear engages the flywheel when the ignition key, or the start button, is pressed. An electrical charge from the main battery activates the starter. This causes two things. The gear is pushed axially toward the flywheel, and it spins at high speed, turning the crank connected to the flywheel. This rotational force drives the reciprocating up and down motion of the pistons, initiating the four-stroke cycle: intake, compression, power, spark, and exhaust. The engine then takes over, running on its own combustion cycles.
This Cullinan was also subjected to severe water exposure, yet critically, the auction manifest noted that the engine does run. This suggests the engine was not operating when the flooding occurred, preventing the catastrophic hydraulic lock. This truly magnificent vehicle is definitely worth the investment and the effort. The vehicle is uniquely fitted with a full carbon fiber wide body kit by the English tuning house Urban Automotive, a bespoke one-of-one design commissioned by the original owner. Contacting the sales manager at Urban Automotive confirmed that the client purchased the vehicle new, immediately requesting the custom body kit installation. The vehicle had logged a mere 240 kilometers before succumbing to the intense flash flood. The images taken after the waters receded indicate the water level likely reached above the headlights. It's truly baffling that a vehicle valued close to $500,000 wasn't garaged or safely stored away from such harsh weather. This is Matt's second encounter with a Rolls-Royce, the first being a Mansory-kitted Wraith. He knows that the vehicle's trunk houses most of the crucial electronic control units. Upon inspection, he immediately notices corrosion on the battery terminal, an unsightly precursor to potential module failure. The key fob signal is weak, the power seats are unresponsive, and the iconic Starlight headliner refuses to illuminate. An initial attempt to start the engine fails repeatedly. After numerous attempts, however, the engine quietly fires up and runs smoothly. But the illuminated check engine light and a host of other warning lamps indicate numerous underlying electrical faults. While the engine runs, the power seats remain jammed in their rearmost position, and the door lock button is unresponsive. This door is a heavyweight, roughly 50 kilograms, a testament to its formidable build quality. Oddly, the primary headlights and turn signals are functional. Matt connects his Bluetooth diagnostic scanner and finds a massive list of error codes. He clears them, rescans, and a manageable few remain. Clearing initial fault codes doesn't magically fix the issues. Sometimes misreadings occur, or the car's computer resolves minor glitches autonomously. The strategy is clear: address all corrosion and systematically replace every failed electronic module. He attempts to restart the engine, but this time it fails again after several tries. This reminds him of his prior Rolls-Royce Wraith project, which had an anti-theft system requiring a secret sequence of actions before the start button would activate. He suspects he accidentally stumbled upon this sequence the first time. Recontacting the Urban Automotive manager confirmed no such anti-theft modification was installed. He tries again, only to hear the distinct click of the solenoid. He checks the battery and charges it externally, much like the first time. Matt decides that if the car starts and drives reliably after this, he'll buy it. On a random attempt, the engine roars to life. The deal is done. He purchases the Cullinan for $205,000. An engine, no matter how formidable, is instantly susceptible to the relentless force of water. It's a power capable of bringing even the most advanced machinery to a standstill. For the first time, Matt embarks on a repair mission with a vehicle that appears outwardly flawless, yet was catastrophically compromised by floodwaters. The water intrusion was sufficient to slash the price of one of the world's most luxurious vehicles in half. This is a 2023 Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Before we dive into this meticulous restoration, if you are passionate about high-level automotive repair and rebuild content, be sure to subscribe to our channel right now. With a planned week-long road trip ahead, Matt needs a reliable and robust all-wheel drive vehicle. His search leads him straight to his preferred destination, the Copart salvage yard. Even though he could afford any new model, buying directly from a dealership defeats the purpose of his content, the challenge of the rebuild. He recently completed a successful Lamborghini Urus revival and sought something similar in scale and prestige. He considered a Mercedes-AMG GLE 63 and an Aston Martin DBX. However, he settled on the Cullinan. Its bodywork is immaculate, without any visible scratches, yet it's listed as having a non-functional engine. The reason? Submersion in floodwaters. When a significant volume of water enters the combustion chamber, the engine's fate is sealed. Small amounts might vaporize instantly, but a major ingress creates an incompressible liquid that acts like a solid wall.
The resulting hydraulic lock creates immense pressure, enough to bend connecting rods, fracture the cylinder head, or destroy the valves. Crucially, the engine block itself often suffers catastrophic cracking due to the uncontrolled explosion. Purchasing a vehicle with cosmetic or body damage is a calculated risk, but acquiring one with internal engine failure is exponentially greater. Enter the centerpiece of our project, the majestic English luxury mansion on wheels, the Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
Next up, the flickering screen and the stuck power seats. The seat control ECUs are under the seats, which means they were directly exposed to water. The front mounting bolts are visible, but the rear ones are blocked by the seat. To extract the module without removing the entire seat, he reaches underneath, disconnects the harness, removes the front bolts, and tilts the seat forward, propping it up with a piece of wood. He installs a used module, again sourced from BMW. It's a tight, wire-filled space. After installing the module and resecuring the harness, he finds an unconnected plug at the rear of the seat base. He realizes the electric motor for the seat's forward-backward motion is missing entirely. This requires 2 motors, costing £900 new. Instead, he buys 2 complete BMW 7 Series seats for £800 to cannibalize the motors and tracks. The rear bench seat also has electrical problems. He removes the entire assembly and finds multiple leaks into one of the control units. He replaces 2 ECUs, this time ordering the genuine Rolls-Royce part for quicker delivery. The rear is fixed, but the screens begin to flicker. He adjusts the display settings on the main screen. He successfully extracts the motor and track from the BMW seats and installs them into the Cullinan seat base. The seat is now fully operational. He removes the main screen and its surround. The radio head unit, the master controller for the entire infotainment system, is located higher up, away from the water. He suspects this isn't the main fault. The unit costs £1,600, so he waits a day before ordering. He gets lucky. The screen comes back to life. The problem, a protection cover for the screen was manually opened at the auction yard after the flood caused a power loss, and the control unit believed the cover was still closed. This created a persistent but simple electrical logic fault. However, the speakers are still silent despite the new amplifier. He checks the fuse box in the trunk and finds a blown fuse for the amplifier. Replacing it restores sound. With the interior problem solved, he installs a new electric door module, but the right side door motor is still dead. He strips the door panel, removing the soundproofing to reveal the window regulator door pull motor assembly. It's similar to a window winder motor. He disassembles it and finds trace amounts of water inside. It uses a small, hobby-grade electric motor. He applies lubricant, taps it gently, and verifies power flow. It works. He reassembles the door and completes the project. The beautiful Alcantara trim is put back in the trunk. He buys a set of genuine Rolls-Royce floor mats, which are luxurious and plush, costing £1,500, the most expensive single item of the entire rebuild, even more than the new starter. The imposing Cullinan rolls out of the garage. It is night, so he parks it beside his other massive restoration project, the Mansory Rolls-Royce Wraith. He sets off on his road trip with the Cullinan in the Urus, though poor weather forces him to cut the trip short. The massive black SUV against the snowy white background looks like a render from a video game. The Cullinan is back to conquering the road. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and let us know in the comments which car we should rebuild next. Peace.